Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. The government is set to raise the minimum monthly salary in Croatia by 5% beginning in the new year. A package of measures will also be enacted to minimize any negative effect on the country's industrial competitiveness.
We are raising the minimum monthly wage by 5%, just like we did last year, which now stands at 3,439 kuna before tax, or 2,752 after tax. This is now equal to 43% of the average pre-tax salary in Croatia. And I am especially proud to announce that this time we are introducing a compensation package to employers as well. We are all aware of the fact that the minimum wage is still very low and that it is not enough to live a dignified life. For this reason, our goal is to raise the minimum wage to 50% of the average monthly pre-tax salary in Croatia.
The government has forwarded to Parliament amendments to the Vocational Education Act. The move is a key step towards implementing crucial reforms. The most important change includes the establishment of regional competency centers throughout the country, which will act as a vital link between the education system and the labor market.
In the entire vocational education system, we have 71% of all high school students, and crucial reforms have simply not been implemented. We have abandoned schools, schools without the proper staff, and schools with outdated curriculums that do not comply with the needs of the workforce. Therefore, 1 billion kuna in EU funds will allow us to finally reform the vocational education system.
After months of negotiations, the government and public sector unions have signed a new collective bargaining agreement. The contract sets a base salary of 5,421 kuna, or close to 720 euros. The four-year deal guarantees public sector employees a Christmas and summer bonus, which will be negotiated separately each year.
From our side, of course, we're satisfied with the deal because some things have definitely improved. We've secured a better deal for transportation costs than we had before. We got a raise in salaries of 2% for next year, and negotiations for further raises have been announced for the month of May.
We are all aware that we began these negotiations as two equal partners, not two conflicting sides. We collectively want the very best for our doctors, nurses, teachers, professors, as well as those in the cultural and social sectors.
Chief State Prosecutor Dinko Cveten commented on the demise of Parliament's Investigative Commission for Agricor. He confirmed that while the commission was not interfering in the official investigation, the decision to shut it down was not his to make. Cveten said the Agricor case was extremely complex and the state's investigation was in the early stages.
This is an extremely broad case, and the investigation will definitely last some time. We must analyze the financial reports and conduct a detailed investigation of the books. We must first and foremost establish the facts. Once the facts have been established, we will make a decision on one of only two options. Either we press charges or we don't. And I think it would be very irresponsible of me to speak to you now about whether or not we will press charges.
The European People's Party, the biggest political bloc in the EU, is holding a two-day conference in Zagreb titled Intercultural Dialogue with Churches and Religious Institutions. The president of the EPP, Josef Daul, Prime Minister Andrej Plenković, and the heads of the Catholic, Muslim and Jewish communities in Croatia are attending.
Croatia has historically been a society of an intersection between diverse cultures, ethnicities and religions. Catholic, Orthodox, Muslim, Protestant and Jewish communities have lived together and not only beside each other for centuries. Last year, Croatia celebrated 100th anniversary of the official recognition of Islam in Croatia, which has been the basis for probably the most successful integration of the Muslim minority in Europe. As a member of the European Union and a signatory of the Charter of Fundamental Rights of the European Union, Croatia guarantees freedom of conscience and religion to every citizen.
Perhaps we do need a few generations in order to forget our mistakes from the past. But what we cannot allow is for this hatred and nationalism to be nurtured. And that is exactly what I see today when I visit the different countries of this region, but thankfully not here in Croatia. This hatred must stop if we are to avoid another war. That is the message I would like to send today.
Ahead of the EU's thematic debate on migration to be held on December 14th, the Commission is working on a political roadmap to reach a comprehensive agreement by June 2018 on how to pursue a sustainable migration policy. Interior Minister Davor Božinović was in Brussels for a meeting of fellow ministers to strategize on how to move from crisis management to a stable migration and assignment policy.
Only with a united effort and a comprehensive exchange of everything that can be useful, especially the right information at the right time, can Europe cope with this type of threat. I am certain that in time, the European Union will show a renewed vitality.
According to the latest opinion poll, the Croatian Democratic Union has the most support among voters with 30.8%, while the Social Democratic Party is in second place with 22.3%. Meanwhile, the popularity of the Živi activist party has risen slightly and is now the third most popular political party with 11% support. When it comes to the most popular politician in Croatia, no one topped the list once again. Croatian President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović is in second place, while Prime Minister Andrej Plenković is in third. And finally, the most negatively perceived politician in Croatia is Prime Minister Andrej Plenković. The category All Politicians is second, while the leader of the opposition SDP, Davor Bernardić, is in third with less than 10%. The events that took place at the Hague Tribunal last week replaced the Agrokor crisis as this month's most important political event. Taking a quick look at sports, Rijeka beat powerhouse AC Milan at home this evening 2-0 in the return game of the UEFA Europa League. Unfortunately, the Croatian league champs had already been eliminated from advancing to the knockout phase. Turning to Eurocup basketball, in the seventh round of Group A, Zagreb's Cedevita beat Turkish side Darüşşafaka 89-83 in overtime last night. The win means that Cedevita has a good chance of reaching the second round of the tournament. The weather forecast for tomorrow calls for mostly sunny skies during the first half of the day, especially in Slavonia. Heavier cloud coverage will move in from the west, bringing rain to the Adriatic coast and western regions of the continent. The Adriatic coast will get a moderate to strong southwesterly and southeasterly wind, bringing increased wave action to the northern coast. Morning lows of between 1 and 5 degrees inland and between 5 and 10 on the coast will give way to highs of 8 to 13 inland and 11 to 16 on the coast. Low-lying areas of the continent can expect snow on Saturday. Sunday morning looks to be very cold, but will stabilize as the day moves on. Snow is still possible in higher elevations. Monday is set for a change in weather as a southeasterly wind will bring warm temperatures and more rain. The northern part of the Adriatic will get a gale-force northeasterly wind on Saturday that may carry down snow from the mountains. The south, meanwhile, will get a southeasterly and rain. Sunday will be sunnier and colder, especially in the morning. Rain is possible in the evening. Monday can expect a gale-force southeasterly wind with rain showers. And that brings us to the end of our program. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow night.